everyone, welcome to brand new episode of DHN CIO podcast. Generally, in the past, we have spoken to CIOs from hospitals and healthcare provider side, but today we want to go beyond and tap into the diagnostic industry. And mind you, diagnostic has come a long way. You might remember that there was a time when after collecting the samples, you had to wait for days for reports. But now you get real-time updates. Now you get AI insights and data that actually helps predict outcomes. And the shift from manual to smart is real, and it's changing how we approach everything from lab workflows to patient care. And joining us today is someone who has been at the heart of this evolution, Pooja Chatrath, CIO at Oncquest Laboratories, a seasoned tech leader with over 2 decades of experience. Pooja has championed digital transformation across leading healthcare organizations, including Dr. Labs and Triovia Biotech. At Oncquest, she is leading strategic tech initiatives that are reshaping operational efficiency and patient experience. Thank you so much, Pooja, for joining us on this conversation today.
I'll say thank you very much for arranging for this podcast because it's always good to share your insights and your journey with the others in the market and learn. So I've been hearing your podcast since long on digital health, and it's great to be part of one, presenting myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words. Let us just start with your journey. I know that you have masters in computer science. You completed your masters in computer science, but how has the journey been after that? How did you land in healthcare IT? Walk us through your journey.
Sure. So basically, I started as a software developer and starting as an intern, then moving to executive, senior executive. And somehow I got a chance in Team Computers to work as a BI analytics team leader. So that was the point wherein from a back-end IT, I moved to a front-end IT team, leading and talking directly to CXOs. And which was actually a turning point for me as well because therein I got to understand that what actually analytics can help in and what is the need of the user, because before that it was you are developing a solution and you're just presenting it and your team leaders are presenting it further to the world. So it was never a point for me to understand what actually the user requirement is or how data can help. So that's why I always say that being a part of ClickView or heading the data analytics part, that was I would say, a big changer for me to look at IT in a different form. So from a technical person, I moved into a functional technical kind of role, and finally into a business transformation IT. That was the first starting point for me. And somehow there was an opportunity with Dr. Lal wherein they were also looking for they had implemented ClickView and they were also looking for one of the resources who understand ERP, who understand uh, BI tools, who can actually collaborate different tools and present a single truth. So that was the turning point for me, and was that it's been somehow one or another I am getting the opportunities in healthcare. And surely it's, I would say, a niche market wherein you learn a lot because you have a lot to transform. That's been the best part about this industry, wherein I've worked with diagnostics, I've worked with hospital, I've worked with stem cell banking. So overall I understand that what how the industry is working, from a baby coming into a mother's womb and the tests that are done, then the baby is delivered, how the stem cells are preserved. So the entire journey actually, somehow this 14-15 years of experience has helped me in building that journey for the healthcare.
I think you rightly mentioned and you hit the nail on its head when you said that IT is no more just a tech role, it's also a business function now. And especially in diagnostics, since you also have experience from Lal Path Labs and now at Onquest, traditionally you see diagnostic has always revolved around collecting samples and processing them in a lab. But as you rightly said, now there is a digital transformation happening in healthcare, across healthcare. And how has that journey changed in terms of diagnostic? And how is data driven decision making now shaping today's diagnostic landscape?
So, what I believe is digital transformation has fundamentally reshaped the traditional diagnostic industry. It's moving beyond a purely lab centric model to a model wherein everything can be driven using data. that has been a biggest change, which I too personally have observed in last 15 years working with this industry. And the best part about digital transformation, if we talk about, is it has helped the organizations to actually make decisions faster. If we talk about that, redefining the digital diagnostic journey using digital transformation, when we talk about decentralization and point of care diagnostics, right?
Yes.
So now digital technology is helping the diagnostic testing to moving closer to the patient, right? So when you're moving closer to the patient, you are providing them point of care devices, you are providing them wearable devices. So what is happening is you are just next to the user, you're doing home collections, you're getting the samples. So you, the patient, the end patient is having a convenience and a faith wherein they can get a solution asap in the world of crisis. Because for sure, when somebody is getting test, so there is a disease or there is a preventive health checkup, and that's why they need help from the diagnostic industry. Now again, if we talk about telemedicine or telepathology, wherein we are working on lot many things, COVID has helped a lot in actually bringing in technology in healthcare industry, I would say. Because before COVID, everybody wanted that personal touch, but now
Right.
post COVID, everybody is used to that kind of environment, wherein if the doctor is sitting on the other side, still they are comfortable that yes,
Hmm.
the doctor can understand their issue. So the data which is being transferred, that is again using technology. So
Hmm.
surely this has helped a lot. This has helped, I would say, enhanced in the sample collection methodology, reducing the tax, understanding where, tracking the samples, understanding where actually is the issue, and then taking the required action. So the digitization which has helped a lot, I would say, in this industry.
But as you improve speed and accuracy, I think it also becomes important to take a look at and be very particular about the accuracy part of it. And mistakes in the
Right.
basics can cost a lot. We know that errors during sample collection, maybe labeling or tracking, can lead to delays or maybe also wrong diagnosis, which you want to avoid. In your experience, how are digital tools like barcode scanners or RFID tags, or now we are talking about AI powered workflows, are helping to eliminate these kind of errors and boost the accuracy part of it?
See, what I believe is the digital tools, like you just mentioned, even if it is a barcode, it is a RFID, or maybe going forward, the AI generated tools. So they play a very crucial role in mitigating these errors. Because if the error is done at the preliminary point itself, that is the pre analytical error that we called in terms of our industry. So if it is done at that point, the post actions that has to be done with the sample, you can't control it, right? So
Hmm.
mitigating the errors at that point is very crucial for a proper tat that is required for the organization. So if we talk about like barcodes, if we have
Hmm.
a unique identifier, it's very easy to identify the sample throughout the lab. So the
Hmm.
journey of the sample, when, where it was collected versus when it was reported, or where there has been the delays. If you talk about, it has been at the registration point, it has been at the collection point, it has been at the department point, or the approver point. You, if you have a unique barcode, you can actually identify it. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult, and the organizations having lot of samples, because I'm sure every organization, as the number of, as the population is increasing, so sample load for every organization is also increasing. So if you do manual, it becomes very difficult to track each and every sample. But
Hmm.
if you have a barcode, it's very easy to track where actually the sample is lying and where is the delay. How could anybody in the organization help other person to achieve the task? So that is required. And if I talk about limbs also, it's very easy to do the automatic data entry into the system if you have a barcode. Otherwise, the chances of error increases. So we can't play with the patient data, and that's important. Similarly, if it is RFID, it is more advanced. It's a wireless technology wherein more of human intervention is also not required. So the labs of the, I would say, having a heavy load, they have started moving on that also. And going forward, we would be coming up with the AI tools as well, which wherein a user can be helped in to properly enter the data without manual intervention, and a proper tracking can be available in the system. So that's my take on
Right.
this.
Pooja, we know now we are also sort of moving away from data. Now we are also talking about smart data, not only just the collection of data, but also data that can provide some kind of inputs. And smart data equals to smart diagnostic. With artificial intelligence and big data analytics now evolving so fast, diagnostic centers now have the ability to predict the trends and flag anomalies early. So, how is Oncquest Laboratories using this kind of smart data, maybe to detect diseases earlier or support clinicians in making faster and better decisions?
See, if we start leveraging the smart data or the AI and the big data analytics, so it's a journey, I would say, which is just started in healthcare, right? And
Hmm.
everybody is creating the use cases and trying to evaluate, because lot many things is coming up in the market, but actually that is suitable for the organization or not, is it use case which can be used for your organization or not, that is also one point which is very critical for the evaluation of solution. But if we talk about actually utilization, if we are leveraging the smart data, it would surely help in early disease detection. So that is one of the thing. Predictive modeling for the disease onset, I would say that would be the right word to quote, wherein machine learning can help you recognize the historical data and identify the patterns, subtle patterns and biomarkers, which can actually help in pre-analytically defining a disease. So that would be, which can lead to an early diagnosis, like we do for biomarkers, we do for genomes. So whereas wherein you are analyzing your blood patterns and you're making a decision. Quest has also started working on this, making using which this NGS department, molecular biology, they have started making decisions, as well as this is also helping, I would say, in drug discovery. So if you talk about clinical trials, like Onquest is already working on clinical trials. We have a lot of projects, a major chunk coming from clinical trials. So for sure you have a lot of data which is there already captured, and these AI tools help us as well as the other party who actually would be going into the drug discovery to take a right action. Because if you don't have tools, you will not be able, in on excels playing on huge data, it's not easy. And understanding a report which is having already, if we talk about HLA typing and all, understanding that kind of reports which is already 50, 60 pages, and every report is having a different pattern, it becomes very difficult if you work manually on it.
Pooja, one more challenge I think almost every CIU faces is the problem of integration. And
Yeah.
not only labs, but also healthcare organizations still face the challenges of integrating their limbs with hospital systems like maybe EMR or PACS or even external platforms. So, what kind of hurdles that you have encountered in achieving true data interoperability, and how are you navigating them?
See, the biggest challenge what I have seen when we have to integrate with any other LIS or HIS, the first thing is data formats. What format we are using versus the formats that they are using, because there is no standardization. So every vendor are having their own kinds of protocols, they are having their own standards that they are following. So because as I mentioned earlier, it's a niche market, right? So
Yes.
healthcare is not wherein a proper standardization is done as there is in BFSI and all. So
Hmm.
basis that, everybody is having their own data format. So when you have to integrate that data, it becomes actually very a big problem for the organization. So for sure, we need to have that data mapping, or we need to have some standards wherein this data mapping can be done in a proper manner. Or maybe I would suggest we should have, uh, like in our case, what we do is we surely need to have the latest versions, because suppose our system is upgraded, we are not on a legacy system, we are on a cloud based system. But if the other hospital is on the legacy system, so you integrating with that system becomes a big problem. So surely yes, if every healthcare organization is on their latest systems, latest versions, it becomes very easy for mapping that data and talking of two systems to each other. It can either be through HL7. We can use the standard terminologies for that. We can have HL7, we can have API based. So sometimes we have a problem wherein some systems are not even able to talk through APIs. So how to integrate that kind of data? So this standardization, I would surely say, is suggested, and it should be there. Open APIs, I mentioned that there is a big challenge. If it is a legacy system, it's a legacy instrument, and you have to get extract the data through Open API. It becomes a problem for us if it is not API first approach kind of system. This mechanism of API gateways and management is surely required in this. Then there is also an issue of data security I would talk about, because if you're not on a latest versions, surely your patches are not your systems are not patched properly. It's more easy, they are more vulnerable, right? So in that case, your system itself also becomes on a vulnerable stage when you have to integrate with such kind of systems. So that is also one big challenge which comes in. And I would say, if all the systems, if we want to address it, yes, there should be secure communication protocols between the system. Either it is through their HTTPS, or there could be VPN connectivity, and then we should access it. So that is some of the ways wherein we can take desired actions.
Puja, patients today are, they are using different kind of apps, different kind of having different kinds of experience, maybe food delivery or maybe booking online experiences. So patients do want digital ease today, and they do expect quick access to test reports, live updates, and an easy, intuitive experience. What steps have you taken to meet these expectations? And are you using any mobile apps or patient portals or maybe even AI chatbots to keep patients engaged?
Just to highlight, like, we are more into B2B business.
Yeah.
For us, end customer is a B2B customer. So our, I would say, 90 to 95% of the business is coming through B2B, and rest is B2C. So I would just describe this in two parts. So when we talk about our customers, end customers, which is B2B, so we are providing them reports. We have a customer portal wherein they can download the reports, and they can then provide it back to their patients. So that is
Hmm.
one thing. So wherein there's a customer or a client portal that is called on, wherein, yes, all the reports, all the invoices, what all transactions has been made, either it is a, I would say, a cash client, a credit client, depending upon the role. So the
Hmm.
portal has been I would say, devised in that manner, wherein the financials as well as the reports are available to them. And if we talk about our B2C customers, so surely we have our website wherein they can book a test. There's an e-commerce already integrated with it, wherein the website actually acts as a repository for what
Hmm.
all tests that patient or their families have got it done under the umbrella of the patient, and with their test details, with their report histories, with their invoices that has been made. So that act as a repository for them. So you have to go and check in your WhatsApp or your mails that where your reports are. And similarly, we are also sending them reports on the WhatsApp if they want
Yes.
immediately to be shown to the doctor. If they are sitting with the doctor, or they want to show it or refer it to a doctor, that can be done. So that is the feature that we already have, and it's a secure login kind of feature, wherein the username and passwords with the
Hmm.
multi-factor authentication, if we talk about, that is already provided.
Thank you for touching on to that topic, because I think my next question is regarding cybersecurity itself. So much data is being generated, so security is no more an option, especially in healthcare. And diagnostic data is incredibly sensitive. So, how are you ensuring compliance with regulations, and what are the cybersecurity protocols that you have implemented to protect patient data and maintain trust with them?
Yeah, cybersecurity, I would say that that's a big topic right now. And actually, ensuring data privacy, cybersecurity, or you talk about regulatory compliances, that becomes again a crucial part of IT operation these days. Because one thing is, it's a sensitive diagnostic data, then it's a data which is coming from the patient, and you have to secure their personal identification as well. So under PHI you again have to take care of that. So and with DPDPA coming up, wherein yes, the digital protection of the data becomes very important. So there are a lot of steps that has to be taken care of, upon. So first thing is the compliances that the organization goes through, if it is NABL or if it is CAP. So basis that regulations, everything has to be taken care of. Then again, following the 21 CFR Part 11 compliances, which is also important for the diagnostic industry or especially for the clinical trials. If we talk about, because it is really, regulated more towards the pharma industry, so we have to adhere to the applicable laws, and for all the data privacy and regulatory compliances that we need to follow. HIPAA is again one of the US regulated data which has to be taken care upon. Now if we talk about, like, for DPDP itself, if we talk about, so consent management becomes a very important part. So while we are collecting the data itself, that is one thing which is being made sure that the consent has been taken in a proper manner.
Hmm.
We are also giving up the purpose, where the data would be used, and where it, and the data minimization, that this data would not be shared with the data accuracy part, encryption of data in within our database, and masking of the important data, that again becomes a critical part of the cybersecurity, I would say. So these are some of the things which become very critical when you are taking care of the things. Then if there is a data migration happening, how you roll out, how your, I would say, servers are
Hmm.
servers are taking care of the data, how the data is being processed from one server to another, or how through different applications you are sending the data. There also you surely need to have, because your if there's a limbs data, there is surely a CRM connected to it, there's a ERP connected to it, there's a SFA connected. So there are a lot of applications or a mobile app connected to it. So what
Hmm.
kind of data can be circulated and where the stop has to be taken care. So that surely comes under all the regulatory compliances that has to be followed, and that is what we take care of in Onquest on the major, as a major goal.
Pooja, I think if you're talking about technology in healthcare, and if we don't talk about artificial intelligence, it would be wrong, especially in today's context. And in diagnostic, AI, powered pathology, AI powered imaging, especially in radiology, we are seeing a huge leaps in speed and precision in that area. So, how is the Oncquest Laboratories tapping into these technologies, and what are the real world impact that you have observed?
As I mentioned earlier in our discussion, also, like we have started it for our genomics, NGS, molecular biology. So there are the steps wherein we have already started integrating, and we have huge data wherein the AI enabled systems have started helping us in understanding the data and creating proper reports for that. So that is one of the things wherein Onquest has already started doing the work. Surely a precision medicine is one of the areas, I would say, which is important, wherein seeing the data, analyzing the data which is coming up through AI tools, and then giving the effective solutions, so that you can take an instant solution, you can provide an instant solution, you can raise the alarms. That kind of solutions are there, alerts, I would say. So
Hmm.
alert, critical alerts, identification, sending the alerts, how they can be discussed with the clinicians or the patient itself. So these are some of the things which have started for our, because we have a lot of remote labs, and our main lab which is in Gurgaon, wherein all the senior doctors sit in. So we are also evaluating solutions like digital pathology with the microscopes, AI based microscopes, wherein that could help in running maybe the routine test. We could run the sample in the remote labs, and we could test it over here. So these are some of the POCs which also we have started, and I'm sure with the technology we would be coming up with, we would be doing a lot of advancement in Onquest in in the near future.
One last question, Pooja. As you rightly mentioned, you're running a diagnostic chain is a huge task, and especially when you're managing multiple diagnostic centers, that also means maintaining consistency across the board. So, how are you ensuring standardization and smooth operations across location? Does cloud tech or centralized data infrastructure play a role in keeping everything aligned?
The first move that I made for Onquest was we were based on a server architecture, client server architecture, wherein everything was on prem. So our first move was to first have a standardized centralized server cloud hosted on a cloud, wherein all labs can directly talk to that server, and a standard operating model can be formed to access the limbs data. So that was the first step wherein the standardization came in, because when you once you have a centralized system wherein
Hmm.
all all the decisions, or either it is a report format, or it is a master identification, or it is having a proper hardware, instead of having subsets of hardware at different locations, it's better to have a centralized. So manageability of such kind of softwares becomes easy, and you don't have, it's a cost optimization also, I would say, wherein you don't need to have lot of resources actually taking region wise resources to take care of different labs, right? So that was the first strategic decision, wherein we had a central we moved to a centralized lab information system, wherein all the workflows, everything was is managed by the centralized lab, and the data synchronization is directly happening on the cloud with all the labs interacting with that database. So that was the first thing. All workflows are managed through that centralized database only, and we make it a point that we control it in such a manner the similar policies and similar I would say similar SOPs has been formed for
Hmm.
all the labs. So we have a standard operating procedures for all the labs. So whatever would be done, it's only maybe a small tweaking if required by any customer. That is, if required, basis the business needs, that's been done. Otherwise, it's a standard centralized operating mechanism that we are following. And also similarly it's related to our security parameters as well. So a standard is being followed throughout the labs, wherein yes, you need to have everything controlled through a firewall, you need to have antiviruses updated on the system, all the patches being done, a 24 cross 7 soc which has to be there, so that all the vulnerabilities can be tracked centralized, and the action can be taken by the centralized team. So that is also the things that we're doing. We have a quality team which is sitting in Onquest Gurgaon. So they have their centralized instrument management and calibration processes that they have standardized, and they are using it through limbs, and they are having their centralized controls, I would say quality controls and assurances that they have formed in. So what we have tried to do is having everything centralized is actually giving a benefit that you don't have to keep subsets of data. And when you have a lot of subsets, if suppose Onquest is on 30 labs, so 30 kinds of data has to be maintained versus one standard has to be maintained, it's always easy, and it's easy to replicate and initiate a new project. If a new project comes in, so it is like, for me it is a 7 to 10 days of task to implement my LIS and make everything up and running, because it's already that we have a standard model which can be replicated. It's already running working fine in the main lab, so you can replicate it. So that's the kind of standardization that we've already done, and somehow it's we are trying to improve more and more on
Like we always say, technology and digitalization is not a destination, it's journey. So
that.
there is
Right.
always a scope of improvement. But thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you so much for all these fantastic insights. And I think knowledge sharing is one way through which we can also ensure that these best practices, maybe you have some best practices that get into the market and others maybe adopt the same. Thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I hope your peers also learn a lot from this conversation.
Thank you. Same here. I also enjoyed interacting with you. And it's
Absolutely.
as you rightly said, it's always a learning experience. When you're sharing, you're learning then also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And for those who are watching this conversation, if you have any questions, if you want to ask any questions to Pooja, please drop in those questions in the comment. We would love to know your thoughts, your suggestions also. And if you have any questions for Pooja, I would love to also share it with her. Please drop those comments in the comment box below. Thank you so much. See you next time.
100%. Yeah. Thanks.